Welcome to the Eisenstein Effect. I'm your host, Vickie Eisenstein, and this is my guest today,
Jonald Reyes. I'm a director, producer, and an actor and improviser around town in Chicago.
My first question is going to be, Jonald, what a name.
Yeah, my parents are hippies, thanks.
Usually hippies are like Brooke or Sunshine Child.
Right, Sunflower.
Yeah.
No, they went the other route. So my dad, I actually did not find this out until 5 years ago, where I went to an audition and one of the auditors had asked, you know, where's your name from? And I had no idea. And so once I did not get that gig. Once that audition was done, I walked out and I was like, I'm gonna call my dad right now.
Yeah.
And he kind of like snickered about it, and he said, the most popular name at that time is Donald, and then I name you after my favorite comedian, the Dynamite guy. The Dynamite, who's J.J. Walker from Good Times.
Oh my gosh.
So it's J.J. Walker and Donald
You did a mashup for your name.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then we're going to give this kid character.
That's not quite the American custom.
No, totally not.
That's cool.
I keep on feeling too that in the Philippines, Jonald is like the Bob Smith over there. Everyone just, there's a bunch of Jonalds all over the place, but whatever.
Which Jonald do you mean? The one down the street?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'll own it here in Chicago or the United States. It'll be fun.
Gotcha. Cool. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got into like theater and arts?
Sure. When I first moved to Chicago, was actually after graduating from Rutgers University. I read this book, Live from New York, which is all about Saturday Night Live. And then inside that book, it's all about Second City and where everybody trained there. And I went online, looked it up, and my first class was around like 2001-ish, where I took writing.
Okay.
And I graduated from the writing program at Second City, went through that whole spiel, and then I had Mary Scruggs a couple times. And she said, if you want to be a better writer, you should be an improviser as well. So take improv classes. And at that time, I kind of was like, I don't want to do this. I don't know about improv. You know, improv is really interesting because if you have such a hard-coded writer's brain, you do not like improv. I just want to write.
You're too busy planning what's happening, and you're not living in the moment like you should be, right?
Which probably even is still in my improv background right now. As I improvise, I still sometimes will throw in too much exposition to have a safety ground.
I do that too.
Right.
Guilty.
Sure. But you know, it was good because once I took level A, it was kind of just that bug where it was like, oh, this is fun. I could do whatever I want. I could pull out a gun anytime I want or something. Well, if that's fun for you. But it was just this thing where you could create on the spot and then have fun. I think what really turned me on was the team ensemble aspect of it. I think playing around with people and just playing like kids and creating worlds, that's what really got me going. And then after that, just went through all the schools of IO and Annoyance and stuff like that. So it's been fun, and I still improvise and play with Stir Friday Night. So
yeah. Why don't you tell me a bit about Stir Friday Night? Sure.
Stir Friday Night is the Asian American comedy troupe here in Chicago. We're the premier Asian American comedy troupe.
Premier.
I know, the premier. We really hold that hard. Also, we also hold our alumni names hard. We have alumni of Danny Pudi, Steve Ewan. We have Mary Sohn from Second City Main Stage, or ETC Stage, I believe. And then also, it's just this other comedy troupe where it's built around just all Asian Americans. So we take our own experiences and we tell the story that we have that would be different from other people that would be here in Chicago. So yeah, it's an Asian American troupe, and we basically do sketch and improv around Chicago and also outside. We haven't traveled in a while, but we definitely, if the opportunity arises, we go out and tour.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Were you a founding member of that?
No, Stir Friday Night has been around this is the 21st year. So it's been around for 21 years, and it's just a cycling cast. So we hold auditions on a yearly basis, and basically we just rotate casts in and out. It started, 21 years ago, and it's been fun so far. I mean, it's good to go to a writer's room and or improv group where they could relate with your culture.
Yeah.
Where like your background story of where your family was from and what you went through as growing up can be related to other people in your group already. So it's always fun that way.
Have you ever performed in the Philippines?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
You know what's great though? The Chicago Improv Festival, a couple of years ago, there's this improv group called Spit, which is just, I think it's Silly People's Improv Troupe.
Okay.
And they're from the Philippines, and they're amazing. They're great, and they're so much fun. I think if you have a chance to go check out the groups from out of the country at CIF when they're here in town, they bring another light to improv that you always kind of forget because they play at a different level where it's just so much fun. They're just having so much fun, and you're just like, oh yeah, I want to do that again. So,
well, I've got some like Filipino subscribers, so check them out if they're still around. They probably are.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. Yeah, they're Spit has their own improv kind of schooling and training over in the Philippines, and they I think they might have started up the improv festival over there. I think it might be the Manila Improv Festival.
Awesome.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, cool. So you're doing Stir Fry Night?
Stir Friday Night.
Stir Friday Night.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you only perform on Fridays?
No, we don't. Wow, that's what everyone always thinks.
Well,
I love it. So no.
Saturday Night Live is on Saturday.
Yeah,
so.
we perform all the time. We perform any day of the week. Our regular gig is over at Underground Lounge, so we get our reps there. And then after that, we've been recently performing over at the Revival over at Hyde Park. And we usually have our yearly review, which is always at a different theater. So we have our yearly sketch review.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now we're in the break room of Theater Stage 773. It's rather cold in here, that's why we're wearing our jackets.
These are not props.
And that noise that you're hearing is probably ventilation.
And also a refrigerator, yeah. It's break room.
So I'm sorry right now about the change in room tone. Sorry. I can't.
It adds a nice blue effect.
A nice blue effect, there you go. Is that
automatically sad
industry term? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else are you doing besides your improv troupe?
Sure. Currently I'm directing and producing Blackfish The Musical.
So that's based on the documentary on Netflix, right?
It is based on the 2013 documentary about whales and orcas living and getting captured actually and being brought over to Seaworld to perform for a bunch of people for $1 billion corporation. So that's the sad part about it.
Yeah, where do you find the comedy in that?
Right, okay, cool. So, from different schoolings of funny business here in Chicago, the Second Cities, the IOs, and the Annoyance, one of the things that they always teach us is that look at the folly of the situation. Where is it wrong in real life? What's wrong with the situation? And once you find that, you gotta turn it up a notch and make it really embellished and so silly that that's where the sarcasm comes from.
Yeah.
So the irony in Blackfish the documentary comes from Seaworld. Seaworld is messed up.
Yeah,
so what we do in Blackfish the Musical is we show everybody Sea Universe. Here at Sea Universe, we capture the orcas and we show everybody how great they are inside these small tanks performing for billions of people. Yeah, that's
so
irony.
You're not allowed to use Seaworld, or Seaworld can go after you? Is that what that is?
Not saying anything.
Were you ever threatened?
No, we were not threatened.
Okay.
We've actually been getting a lot of good support from people from within Blackfish. Actually, all our ticket sales proceeds are going to marine wildlife conservation charity, and one of them is Orca Network, which actually is Howard Garrett. He's one of the co-founders of that, and he was in Blackfish the documentary.
Oh, okay.
So they, all the former SeaWorld trainers, they know about this project that we're working on, and they've been nothing but supportive. Also, activists are on Twitter feeds like crazy, and they've been retweeting this project, so it's been really getting a good buzz, and it's a good feeling knowing that not only are we trying to be funny and have fun with this musical, but we're also telling a message, a strong message about wildlife conservation.
Now, is this like a special cause for you that you definitely wanted to focus on, or how was the process of deciding that you would focus on Blackfish?
Sure, I Well, it really started with my writers. At one time, my writers and I, we met up, and you know, I said we should do a musical, and they were like, yeah, let's do a musical. And they went away, came back, we met, and then the first thing they said is, we want to do a musical on Blackfish.
Okay, so said, right away they were into that.
Yeah, and I was like, the documentary about whales? And they were like, yeah. And just like what you asked me, I asked them, I was like, how is this funny? And then they explained what I just explained to you, which is the irony of Seaworld. And I was on board. And once I read the script, their first draft, I was like, okay, I get it. And once that started, it was this thing of just like, you know, there's just a strong message in here already. So the first and foremost thing was just like, let's just tell a good story.
Yeah.
So if we get a strong message in there, then awesome. And then once we find that message, why not exploit it and be strong about it and have a standpoint? You know, a while back I actually learned that, you know, art is activism. I mean, what we do already has some kind of opinion in there. So why not take advantage of it? Why not, you know, hold that mic and use it to your advantage?
Are you writing anything currently?
No, I'm not really writing anything right now. I'm kind of going through the motions of listing ideas.
Okay.
I've also been playing around with stand-up and solo sketch lately.
Oh,
so it's always interesting when you're going through that process in your brain, because it's really just it's you only, and then but then you can still create scenes, and it's like you're trying to create scenes where you're being able to tell enough information through one character and still kind of convey it to somebody else that might not really be on the stage with you. So that's the fun thing about and the challenging thing about it.
I do stand up, but I've never done solo sketch.
Sure.
And solo sketch, I guess that's the final frontier for me, and it scares me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I just need to watch more like one man, one woman shows, and then I'll get the idea of it. But now it's scary as an idea to me.
One of the guys in Stir Fry Night, Avery Lee, he's really good at
he
teaching.
does the underground lounge stuff, right?
The guy in charge. He's good at teaching people, kind of taking a sketch that may be written for 2 or 3 people and changing it up so that it could come from one person's point of view. And if you take enough information from the other people and just throw it to that one character, then you can get away with it being a solo scene.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what else is there that you'd want to talk about?
Sure. Right now, I'm also an associate producer for Chicago Women's Funny Festival, and also going to be one of the venue managers for Chicago Improv Festival. Both those things are coming up soon. I think Chicago Improv Festival, the submissions are already closed, but it's coming up in May, so catch all the shows there. And then Chicago Women's Funny Festival, submissions are currently open, and that'll be up in June. So everything's kind of just planning out for something big to happen.
Gotcha.
So that's always, if I'm not directing or writing and performing, then there's definitely a festival that I'm somewhat involved with. But it's great. I love the festivals.
Do you ever have free time?
I spend it with my lovely girlfriend.
Aww. She's just waiting for that.
I know.
That's great. And then I guess just like any hobbies or anything in particular that you do that's kind of interesting?
So because of Blackfish, not because of it, but since I knew so much about Blackfish, I'm also a documentary freak. I will watch documentaries like all the time. Like actually, if I need to unwind, I still watch a documentary. It could be the most like stressful thing to watch, but I watch it. I'm so intrigued. You know, for me, documentaries is another way to study human behavior. Yeah. Especially if you're like a director and or an actor that's just trying to learn how people, you know, people are characters. I mean, we're characters ourselves, right? So a great way to watch that is documentaries. Yeah. Without having to actually stalk people in real life, which wouldn't be good.
We're not recommending stalking here. No. Great. So why don't you tell people where they can find information about your shows or you, and do some plugging.
Sure. You can find out more about Blackfish The Musical at blackfishthemusical.com, all one word. And then also, if you want to learn more about me, you can go to jonaldjude.com. Jude is my middle name.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Jonald Jew. And I was like, oh, are you wanting to try?
Yeah. Through association of Brian Posen.
There you go. Cool, cool. Twitter?
Yeah, at Jonald Jude. Yep. Cool. It's just like Hey Jude.
It's unified or standardized. There you go. Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, thanks everybody for watching and listening. If you're on the podcast, thank you for listening. Make sure that you check out my website, www.VickieEisenstein.com. Also, if you're watching this right now, check out the podcast because it has some extras that were cut out of this broadcast. And if you're listening to the podcast, why don't you come over to YouTube and make sure that you hit up at Eisenstein, EFCT on Twitter, and my personal Twitter account at Vickie Ironstone. Also on YouTube for this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with people you know will love it. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for being on. You're awesome.
Yay!
Yay.